Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters video. Thank you as always everybody for your suggestions. Please keep them coming. This will actually be the last video for at least this round on here, but I'll absolutely create some new ones within a short time period, and I'll let everybody know on that. So with regards to this video, we have a very interesting, very original cryptid, one that I have never heard of before, and I'm sure most of you haven't heard of as well. But this particular cryptid, after reading it and after going through the research on there, I'm sure you all agree that this is actually perhaps one of the most deadliest, if not most destructive, cryptids out there. And it has to do with a cryptid that's called the Basilisk, which you'll see a picture of here. I hope I'm saying that right, but that's how it's spelled out phonetically. It's called the Basilisk. And again, upon first impression, sure enough, you see what I see here. You see what looks to be a rooster combined with the body of a snake or a serpent, at least towards the backside on there. Upon first impression, it does look, a little ridiculous on there, but after you read and hear essentially what this particular cryptid can do and how long it's been alive, then you'll realize that this is absolutely not one cryptid to mess with on there. It is by far the most destructive cryptid that I know of, the most deadliest one too on there, considering just how powerful this particular cryptid is. So this cryptid goes back a good while. The earliest tale of it is actually back in the year 79. That's right, I said it right. It was the year 79. So 79 AD. We're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years back. Tales of this particular cryptid have been around since then. And with this particular tale, it essentially gives the characteristics that make up the cryptid as it is known today. So that's how long the tales associated with this particular basilisk have been known, and the characteristics are the same as of today. So here's how the cryptid essentially comes about. By the way, the overall size of the basilisk is essentially the size of a rooster. I didn't find anything that said otherwise with regards to it being larger than that. So again, first impressions will make one think, oh my god, here we have this thing the size of a rooster, what exactly can it do? But here's what it can do, essentially. So the earliest tale again goes back to the year 79 AD, and it comes from a tale known as Pliny the Elder's Natural History. And here's what he describes coming across this particular cryptid. I don't know if he came across it directly, or if he heard tales on from other people. But here's what he said. He said, this is a cryptid that when it hisses, all the other serpents fly from it. That's how scared all the other animals are to have a serpent. A serpent itself, a serpent that can essentially take on most other animals, have no fear on that part. These other serpents just completely fly from it. This is a cryptid that apparently moves upright and erect upon the middle, is how he described it. Meaning that unlike other snakes out there that move by the quote-unquote succession of folds, this is a cryptid that walks upright, just like a rooster would on there. Here's the most interesting part. Whenever it comes contact with anything such as shrubs, it destroys all shrubs, not only by its contact, but those even that it has breathed upon. So give that a thought when you have a chance on there. Here's a cryptid that whenever it touches something, it instantly destroys it. Its body, and the reason for this is because of its venom. Its body is apparently completely encased in some kind of venom, and it emits its own kind of venom as well, just through its breath alone. Anything it comes into contact with, if it's again a shrub, if it's some grass, if it's even some rocks, these items are completely destroyed. And the tale goes on further to describe that too. It burns up all the grass too, and breaks the stones. So tremendous is its noxious influence on there. So if you know you're around a cryptid like this, all you have to do is look for a haunting trail of destruction. If you see what looks to be as if some animal, was just walking across the grass on a field somewhere, but this field, anywhere this animal walked across, is completely obliterated, like the grass is withered away and died, but all the other grass surrounding it is fine, then you know that you've come across this particular basilisk, and it is not something to essentially follow, essentially go the other way around, in other words, on there. And the reason for this is because the general belief is that if this cryptid even looks at you, it's deadly. That's how powerful its venom is on there. If it looks at you, it can emit, apparently, its poison, its whatever kind of venom it has directly towards you, and you're dead on there. So the tale goes that it's also a general belief that if a man on horseback killed one of these animals with a spear, the poison would run up the weapon and kill not only the rider, but the horse as well. Wow, think of that as well. Here you have a scenario where the basilisk's poison or venom is so powerful that even if it were struck by a spear thrown from a man riding a horse, and this horse is galloping along at a great speed, so quick is its poison that whatever hits it on there instantly travels back to where it came from, and probably as a form of defense of some sort, and the person that's on the horse and the horse itself are dead on there. Very, very freaky stuff. Interestingly enough, the cryptid basilisk, it does have one weakness, and this weakness is mongoose. For whatever reason, the mongoose, just like it has been a mortal enemy of snakes all around the world, here it has I guess you could call it a mongoose, but it could also be a weasel. It has this particular animal as its mortal enemy too. So apparently just the odor of having a weasel or a mongoose around the cryptid is enough for it to die on there. That's how unique its weakness, its kryptonite, is at this point. Very, very freaky stuff on there. There have been tales of kings wanting to have this basilisk body, essentially for it to be killed and to have its body placed as a trophy of some sort, but anyone that has done so has faced its killing glare, its quote-unquote killing glare, and its poisonous breath, and that was enough to make sure that this cryptid was always victorious. In other words, that it would not have anything associated in terms of death on there. There was another gentleman by the name of Alexander Neckham who was the first to say that not the glare, but apparently the quote-unquote air corruption was the killing tool of the basilisk. So that goes into the controversy that, again, the tale is if this cryptid looks at you, then it can kill you with that. But he says that it's not exactly the glare, it's more of the quote-unquote air corruption, which goes towards the idea that it's somehow emitting its venomous poison directly at you, either through the air or something along those lines. So it's not exactly its eyes that are doing it, but it looking in your direction and then doing something with its breath or something along those lines is how it's doing it. But it makes it seem as if it's the look itself that does it on there. So very, very creepy stuff. There's even the world, one of the most famous people in all of history, Leonardo da Vinci, who included a basilisk in one of his works called the Bestiary, and you'll see a picture of it here on there. So again, this is a cryptid that has been known for hundreds and hundreds of years, and in this case at least even known by one of the most famous men in all of history on there. And even then, Leonardo also describes the idea that the weasel or the mongoose is essentially the kryptonite, the main weakness on there. And according to Leonardo, he even described it as saying this beast, in other words, the weasel, finding the lair of the basilisk, kills it with the smell of its urine, and the smell indeed often kills the weasel itself. So it's a mortal combat of some sort where the two particular natural enemies, just by being in their presence alone, kill each other automatically on there. Very, very freaky stuff on there. So has anyone else heard of this particular cryptid, the basilisk? Again, not much to look at when it comes to its initial thought, when you see its body on there, but when you hear essentially how it has so much venomous poison, far, far more. Think of the deadly alien blood from any of the aliens in the Alien movies, But think of that with this particular cryptid, and you'll get an idea of essentially of not something to mess with on there. So there has been also the idea that the basilisk has actually been misinterpreted for a cobra. And the idea behind this is cobras also have, of course, the crown around their head that from far away, perhaps distorted by mirages, can make it look like something else. They also, when they move forward and they're standing upright, it looks like they're actually walking forward. Instead, of course, they have their crown elevated and they're slithering forward in an attack mode. So, but it looks like something else if you're in a panicky mode and if you're also from far away distance on there. And then with regards to its quote-unquote murderous glare, there's the idea that, again, the cobra could be mistaken for the basilisk because whenever you have a spitting cobra, if you look at the cobra and the cobra's looking at you, the whole idea is for the cobra to hypnotize, not really hypnotize you, but to keep your focus on itself just long enough so that way it can spit its venomous poison directly at your eyes, and then you would get hit with that, and then it would be over for you, unless you because by then you'd be blinded and the cobra would be able to then bite you, and then it would be over by that point. So, but what do you guys think? The basilisk itself, is it perhaps the most deadliest cryptid out there of all? Does anyone else have any other stories associated with it? Please share them as always here. Post your comments as well. If anyone knows any tales of where a most recent story is too, because I tried seeing if there were any more recent sightings or recent encounters. Nothing really on there. The last one was back in the 1700s or so. So I don't know if there's been much associated with it now, but if anyone has any other information, please post it below. So thanks again, everybody. Take care.